And this is Dabu 7 Underground World News Live, April 21st, 2017. Let's say what's up to everybody out there in the chat. Quite a few out there hanging out before we went live. Joined here, Chico, Mike, Eric, Casey. And yeah, how you guys doing?
I'm doing well, brother.
I'm doing good, man. Hope everybody out there is doing good. Welcome out.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody that spends their Friday with us, and I appreciate everyone out there that shares this, gets the info that we put out there a little bit further. It's truly appreciated to the fullest. So we've had quite a few different things going down here. I'm going to start off here with an update, which is an important one because we talk about the game being rigged, this whole thing being a sham, world as a stage. Talked about DB Bank in the past and how they got caught rigging the markets. I mean, how the thing everything's set up on. Whole stock market, the whole nine. They were rigging everything. The precious metals, the gold, the silver, the platinum, palladium, you name it. They were rigging it. Flat out, they got caught. They should be in prison, but they got smacked on the wrist, fined, and they were able to keep going. So, in no time, once again, they've been busted. Traders have been caught using chat rooms to rig FX trading. So, is anybody going to jail or to prison? You'd think, right? No, DB Bank just fined $157 million. It's a chump change when they're rigging the whole freaking game, making trillions. That's how crazy this game is. People can get caught flat out rigging this whole thing. Big banks like this, rigging the whole damn thing. No one's protesting in the streets. No one's doing anything about it. They get fined. That way, I guess they can say they did something to punish them. But what is that when they print all the money? This whole thing's a scheme. It ain't backed by gold.
I feel like they make the whole thing so darn complicated that nobody can really understand even what's going on.
And on top of it, God forbid you're having a rough year and you're being able to afford paying your taxes back, trying to work out a payment plan. They got you by, but these guys can steal billions essentially. In the end, they can.
Well, we talked about it before. It's about a debt slave system here, and we don't have to say that. I mean it. To build credit, you have to put yourself in debt, and you have to pay on that debt. Thank you, Paul. That is appreciated. You have to pay on that debt in the way that they want you to. To build that credits, you have to be a debt slave. If you're someone that doesn't even build any credit, does nothing, you're what they call a ghost. And that's just as bad. I mean, having no credit, sometimes it's just as bad as having bad credit. It's what they call a ghost out here. So you have to subject yourself to the game, put yourself in debt, get a credit card where they can charge you interest. It's about them being able to make a dime off you. See, and that's what's happening. Same thing with being double taxed. You go out there and bust your tail, you get taxed for every dollar you make. Then you turn around and you get taxed on every single thing you buy.
Yep. Debt slavery, mortgage on a house, same thing. Yeah, you get the tax write-off, but then now you just incurred all this risk. When things break, you're responsible. You got to pay property taxes on it. And then who stays in a house for 30 years? Nobody I know. Either you're going to get a divorce, you're going to lose your job. There's going to come a time when you can't pay that mortgage payment. And as soon as you can't pay it, they got their greedy little hands ready to jump on it and take it from you.
Yep, that's exactly it. And, at this point, yeah, it just blows my mind. How many times am I going to report that a top bank or these people are just sitting here rigging the game? This is what you should be teaching your children. This right here, that this whole thing's a setup. And thank you, Elinars. And that's the truth. Now I'm gonna switch gears here.
Can I add something in right there?
Yeah, go ahead.
What about the prison systems? It's like even if you don't pay your taxes, you're gonna go to prison, and then when you go to prison, you're worth at least a minimum of $31,000 a year to the state. So you're in a way, for some people, they're gonna make more money off them being in prison than they would off of taxes. So that all ties into the same thing as the debt slavery.
Cha-ching.
Mm-hmm. It is true.
Yeah, what they do is they need to, it's just like the military. They need to fill the roles. Like basically the bureaucracy needs to be fed. It's like a beast. They have to feed patients to the doctors. They have to feed to the psychologists, the psychiatrists. They have to feed the prisons. They all need to be fed with bodies. Otherwise, it doesn't pay off for them. And so now you got to look at the incentive. Okay, their incentive is to enslave all of us and entangle us into this web of bureaucracy. That's why I was so pissed off when I got this fishing ticket. I've been calling these people, how much is this ticket going to be? Oh, you're not in our system. It's like this web of bureaucracy, and they pull you into it. And the best way to go through this life, I think, is to stay away from all that.
Right. And that's the last thing they want. They don't want you to detach from the system. They don't want you to do that. They don't want you collecting water, using a wood burning stove. They're already finding people for all those things. They don't want you off grid. They want you attached and dependent on the system. You see?
Yeah.
Jets. Well, my next story here was the Trump administration. They begin quiet preparations for government shutdown. And, with all the crazy stuff that we deal with, there's no need to have to add anything to how crazy some of this stuff is, because they will shut down. But I mean, come on, they hardly work as it is. And when they do, is it in our interest? It seems like half the time it's not to me. It seems like so many of our politicians are paid off. They turn the cheek. And that's the problem with it. They're not there lobbying for us, our rights. They're there pushing along with the agendas of the OPECs, the other lobbyists that are pitching money their way. As long as the people don't do anything, they're going to keep doing it. But yeah, apparently they're saying the Trump administration here is preparing for this government shutdown that they think is looming. They say they want to keep the government open, but to me, it feels like feels like something's in the air. Can't put my finger on it yet, but that's all I can say at this point, I guess, is that I feel like something's in the air.
What's crazy is when I think back to the history of this country, and we've always had government in this country, but we were largely an agrarian society, with farmers. Half the United States were farmers, and therefore they were independent. They were off the grid, so to speak. And the first thing, it seemed like the first step that the United States government took in getting control of people was to take away their individualism, their rugged individualism. And they started buying up all these farms and out their farm and then lease it to other people. And everything became corporate. And it no longer became an agrarian society where everybody had some chickens and pigs and could shoot a couple deer and grow their own food. And they didn't have to listen to the rules of a government, you see, and they had the right to stand up for what they believe in. But then you fast forward to 2017 and all of us are locked in the beast. We all have to go to a job and work. And it's crazy because if you don't have a job in this reality, you're nothing. Like, you can't just go grow some food and get chickens, and you can't live off of that anymore. So they pretty much have us all, they have us all bent over the barrel, basically. I mean, that's where things stand now. And we need to get back to that rugged individualism, but I don't even know how to do that.
Unfortunately, it's a long process. And they do it intentionally, because without us, what are they? Nothing. They need slaves. They need people in debt. That's how they make their money. That's how they it gets deep.
Yeah, without us, the whole thing stops going. Everything shuts
Exactly,
down.
and without us, they're not in power. They need us to be
Yeah.
slaves and be in debt, so then they can have the power that they have over people. Because if they don't have anybody, they're just an average person.
That
Yeah,
is
I mean,
very true.
we talked about gardens and all that. Well, everything's changing. Here in California, Prop 64, we talked about a little bit about this on other shows about what has happened to the cannabis community out here in California.
Nick, you said Prop 64. You want to explain a little bit about that for the folks out there that don't know much about that?
Yeah, well, basically, as goes California, goes the laws, and basically they don't listen to the way people vote in this state. Basically, the state takes over and does the opposite of what the people want. So they put this Prop 64 on the ballot, and it was about legalizing cannabis in California. The problem is that sounds like a great concept. And I'm just for clarity, I don't smoke cannabis. I'm just telling you guys the story about what this is about. And now, basically, any transactions that a grower is a part of it is illegal because cannabis is Schedule 1. It is illegal for any of those funds to go through any bank account or checking account. So these are all cash transactions. So you have people walking around with tens of thousands of dollars to go pay their taxes on their cannabis or to collect their money after they sold to a dispensary. You know, these people were farmers before, and under the current state of Prop 64, the farmers are just done. They can't be profitable anymore. I mean, they used to get $3,000 and $4,000 for a pound of cannabis, and now it's down to like $800 to $1,000. I mean, literally, the bottom fell out of the value of pot. And now all the corporations, of course, are coming in and like a Hoover vacuum cleaner and sucking up all these little farmers and buying them out, buying out their operations.
And that was the fear. That was the fear. And shout outs to everybody out there in the chat. That was the fear for many of the farmers out there when this whole talk of legalization came through, because they knew that somewhere in the script they were going to write up that companies like Philip Morris and all these other big companies, big tobacco companies, could come through and do exactly what you just said. Buy up all the small farmers or buy up everything around them and effectively shut down small farming and run them into the ground. You know, basically undercut them on price and everything else.
Oh, yeah, because they got the overhead. They can carry more overhead as a large corporation. They have more funds available. What they've also done is criminalized a lot of people out there. Dab, I guess it's called, them, where you basically boil this pot down into like this butter consistency, and then they scrape it off and basically inhale it after it vaporizes. And it's a highly potent form of it.
Is it like a resin or something?
Yeah, it's like a resin. And so what they've done now is if you're caught with that, it's like a meth. It's like a meth. Like you get charged with meth charges, like a meth lab. And it's just cannabis, but it's just boiled down into a very concentrated form.
Yeah, because they're giving you manufacturing charges, correct?
Yes, manufacturing. Also, they're trying to say it's like dangerous, even though it's really not. I mean, you're dealing
I'd like to point out real quick that when they produce that, they're running chemicals through it.
Butane.
I know that butane is part of the process, and it's literally the cans of butane that you would put into the bottom of a lighter to refill it with a little plastic tip on it. There's a whole process that they do. My buddy broke it down for me one day, and we were looking it up, and they put chemicals through it that causes it to sweat, causes it to create the resin. It pulls the THC, the tetrahydrocannabinol, pulls it out of the plant and creates the sticky resin that they ultimately end up collecting and dripping out of the end, and that's how they get it. So it is chemically changed. It is altered in that way, and I can see how that fact alone could make it fall into some type of some type
of hazardous material
stronger
and
catalyst.
hazardous
Yeah,
because of the
stronger
fact that
catalyst,
if they don't get all of that butane out, which when they're getting it out in whatever process they're using, some just let it air dry, some put it in the oven. I've never done it myself. I'm speaking from videos I've seen or friends, but there's a chance that you don't get all the butane out of it. So, people will then be vaping butane with THC.
Well,
they're also double dipping, adding extra taxes on top of the taxes that the state of California is charging in certain counties. So in the counties where they're growing most of the pot in California, they're talking about extra taxes on top of the state taxes, like a premium tax, just to grow in those counties.
In Colorado, they're having blowback because they did that. They took a lot of the funding from the weed that they were growing and selling and everything, and were supplying it to all kinds of places around. Some places were rejecting the money. Other places would take it, and they were building parks and all types of other stuff. And then when they started talking here recently about doing away with that, and then the money was going to disappear, people in the city started to get pissed. You see, then they started like, well, hold on. Then they seen the importance of the money that was coming in from those farmers and what it was doing. It was keeping, things flowing. If not, it was going to dry up if they were going to crack down and go the other way. So they had already got dependent on seeing some of that money come through. And then they were already talking about yanking it back, all because of, like you were saying, the federal umbrella across the board that makes this difficult. When states legalize something, you still have the federal law saying that it's illegal. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And so basically the bottom line, all the profit for the small growers has been pulled out of pot in California with the sweep of one pen, Prop 64. And a lot of farmers aren't coming back next year. They're selling off all their pot. I mean, pot's cheap now in California because of this.
It sucks, man. Not because of the pot, but because of the farmers, man, because of the agriculture value that they bring to the community. That's really bad.
And at the end of the day, whether people smoke pot or not, or agree with it or not, the bottom line is people's rights are being taken away. We're being criminalized. It's a whole new set of rules. And if it's not the pot growers, it's going to be somebody else. It's going to be the fishermen, like what I went through, where I got a ticket for catching a fish to eat.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Yeah, and that's what they're doing. They're cracking down on all different types of ways, man, in every which way they can anymore these days. Let's switch gears here to another story.
I want to add
here.
something there, D, if I could.
Go ahead.
The old man across the street from me, nearly 80 years old, he has to pay for his dock on his house now. He lives on a small lake here. And now he has to pay yearly for his dock just to be on the water, for his little fishing boat to be out there, where he never had to pay that before. But now the federal wildlife and game came in and said he has to pay.
Imagine that. That's just another thing they can make up out of thin air to try to hit you with. Perfect example right there. And I'm sure it ticks people off big time.
Yeah, the VA paid for his fishing license every year, so they weren't making any money off him to go fishing. The VA paid for him to have a lifetime license on his boat, so he wasn't making money off of that. So they come out, this wildlife, whatever, fishing game says he has to pay an annual fee on the damn dock.
Well, they do a lot of that with the wildlife stuff, and try to, as well as I do, they don't give a damn about half this stuff if it comes to a pipeline running through there and they really want to put it in. Everything goes out the window. But all this other stuff, they're trying to make them national parks or reserves or all this other stuff. And they clamp down the land. If you look out west, how much land the feds have consumed, it's a lot. It is a lot. All through Nevada, Utah. I mean, they have so much land. They continue to take whatever land that they deem, there's sagebrush there we need to protect. We're taking that too.
Right.
They've been doing
they
this
have 70% of New Mexico or 70% of Nevada now?
I mean, they got big chunks of like all those states, it seems like.
It's weighted on the west in Central America, probably because of the uranium and gold and all the resources they could pull out of the ground.
A lot of the resources, yeah, because it's very rich there in that part of the United States.
Wasn't it just last year that the Native Americans were told they had to give up? There was I forget it, but there's a copper mine that the government wanted to put in, and they were told they had to give up this chunk of land, and it was a sacred chunk of land. I think it was in Utah. Very beautiful area. I remember seeing pictures.
I remember there was a family, yeah, that was facing that, something like that. Yeah, I remember what you're talking about. I don't remember exactly where. They come in and do that stuff. Just like the family that was living there by Area 51 for the longest time. They lived there forever, and they're here finally. Recently, they came through and kicked them out. Eminent domain. They tried to wait it out as long as they could, and it didn't matter. They came in and kicked them out anyway. You don't take the price they throw at you. Here's $1 million. Say it's worth 20 or 30. Say there's resources in the ground that's worth hundreds of millions. They don't care. They're going to try to throw you 100 million. And if you don't take it, they're kicking you out anyway with paying you nothing. That's what they're doing to people. Now that's crazy. You should not be allowed to do that. And it's just because they're expanding out so far that's what it's come down to. They literally had those people surrounded at that point when they made that land grab.
Government overreach
Zach,
at its finest,
thank you.
man.
What was that?
I said government overreach at its finest.
Zach says, I love you, Lauren. I'm going to switch gears here a little bit to a story out of Russia where it always seems like we have some kind of Russian diplomat knocked off, some kind of crazy crap happening with the KGB or, it's assassins. Well, we have 3 people killed in a shooting at a Russian intelligence agency office. This took place when an armed man killed 2 people and injured another before he was shot dead as well. This was at the office of Russia's FSB intelligence agency in the Far East. This took place today. Now, the FSB is the main successor to the KGB. So interesting that that happened. There wasn't much talk or coverage of that, but I wanted to make note of it. They didn't mention any names, but they did say that they identified the man that did the shooting as a local resident between the age of 17 and 18, and they tried to connect him to being a member of a neo-Nazi gang. So here's another one. Emergency supplies are tax-free in Texas. Some are saying what does that mean? Well, we are approaching hurricane season, and that's kind of what they're saying this is for. I know that other states have got to be in the pathway of the hurricane alley, so to speak, as well. But Texas is saying that emergency supplies are tax-free this weekend. So if anyone's out there in Texas, you want to pick up some things, anything that you can connect to emergency supplies would be tax-free.
Speaking of emergencies in Texas, a significant portion of Texas is under tornado watch right now. So I'm not sure the counties. I see the watches popping up while I'm driving here. But if you're in Texas, just take a look. There are tornado warnings in effect.
Yeah, I seen here about an hour or so ago, right there in the north of Dallas area, things are starting to pick up.
Yeah.
All my exes live in Texas.
I've got an update here in terms of the whole situation with North Korea real quick. We've got satellite images, the newer ones that are being shared, which is all we have to go off of at this point, is showing activity at the sites. So it means that they're back to work. It means everyone, there's movement around these sites. And I guess they kind of froze up for a minute as Pence came to town and China was popping off missiles. But it's also interesting, if you guys missed it, there was a video I put out in terms of a F-18 fighter jet that crashed today. And this was a fighter jet that came off of the USS, what is it called? Is it Vinson, I believe? the one headed to North Korea. So out of all the aircraft carriers, that one had an F-18 go down near the Philippines. Now, mind you, April 15th, they put out statements that this armada was headed toward North Korea, but it was like a head fake. It headed toward Indonesia. And now, with them reporting that this F-18's been taken out of the sky, or it went down, the pilot ejected. We don't know what caused it, but it gave away the position there near the Philippines, still heading in the direction of North Korea. So,
is that technically the first casualty of this situation?
well, the pilot ejected and they recovered him safely.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah,
Was he shot down?
no, there was no shooting down. They don't know. They see it could have been turbulence, could have been anything. So he was trying to come in for a landing, and then something went wrong, and he had to eject.
It's so true.
So,
any veterans out there know that's true. There's 10,000 bazillion variables that can happen in any given situation. I mean, there's diesel fuel everywhere, fumes going all over the place. I mean, it's a very volatile situation.
See, the thing is you can't track. You get most of these websites, you can only track the vessels, like the military vessels specifically, when they're in port. Once they've showed up at a dock or a port and they're in port, it won't show you their movement out in the open water anywhere.
It's a good thing, too.
You're right, because the enemy or anyone else could be tracking it. So when they put out these reports, people just have to say, okay, well, they're saying they're going this way, then they're going that way. But are they really? Well, they've already proved that they've lied once and threw a head fake, and they went the opposite way. But what this crash does do is it gives away the positioning, that it was very near the Philippines, in my opinion. You see what I'm saying? If it would have never happened, we've never even got that location where this all went down. But it was in the Celebes Sea, very near the Philippines. Which right now go ahead.
So if this was all to pop off, what do you think? How do you see this all playing out? I mean, obviously everything's building up. We got troop movements, on the border. We got what China was saying that they're not letting flights in North Korea.
It's like you said a second ago. I mean, there's so many variables. There's so many different things that could happen here. But I've been looking deep and listening down every different alley and to what all these generals, different people say, and the different strategies. I've been looking at all types of different things, and they don't want to talk about a ground invasion right now or any talk of it when it comes to this. But no matter what happens, if bombs unless you level the whole freaking place, which you're not going to be able to drop a bomb and have it stop right at the border, South Korea, there's going to be refugees. There's going to be an influx of people. There's going to have to be troops on the ground that are ready to deal with this. And China knows this. Russia knows this, apparently, because they just sent massive amounts of troops to their borders, certain cities, checkpoints, and they're gearing up. They're gearing up for an influx of refugees, just in case anything does happen, and they're taking it serious.
My sister-in-law just got orders to go to South Korea, and she's in the army. So
you see, right there's a mount up. Right there's a mount up. Oh man, that's I mean, you got to be careful here. I mean, no one wants to see a Nagasaki, Hiroshima, where this stuff's dropped and innocent people and cities are just nuked and wiped out. They're more tactical than that these days. They can hit them. They can hit them with weapons. Man, they got these lasers. They got all kinds of different things. I think that may be where we're at with this. I think that some of the maneuvers you're going to see may be something offset that you're not used to seeing. Like I said before, when it came to that failed launch, it just blew me away to know that a month prior, they were talking about the Obama administration had the ability to do just that. Take it out as soon as it went to take off. They had the program, and then they said they handed it off to Trump. That's what really caught my attention. Then I'm like, okay, there's a real possibility here that they did do this. And they did it with something around which obviously isn't the aircraft carrier or this armada. It was something else that did it and took it out. Because when they asked Trump, Trump's been saying so many different things, but when they asked him about this, he clammed up, and they have refused to deny that they did it. And by their actions, well, their quietness is pretty damning to me. I think that I think something's at play there. So the very next thing could be just like that. It could be something cyber, something we haven't seen yet. You know, that they use. Go ahead.
Do you think there's any teeth to the threats that Kim Jong-un's making about laying waste to the United States, a heap of ashes? What did he call it?
Reduce it to a heap of ashes. This is my personal opinion. If anything happens here, it's because someone let it. Just like every other staged event and false flag. If there's something off the coast of California sitting there and there's a sub, they know it. Whatever's going down has been planned. It's just that simple. That's how it's always been. Every other war's been that way. Why would this next one be any different?
Yeah.
We would just be getting caught in the crosshair. Be like the next 9/11, but they're going to be blaming it on someone else. And if they want, they're not launching from North Korea and that damn in a missile, getting clear across that ocean and striking California. I tell you that much. There's no way they would have
all the counter defense measures we have across this country.
There's no way. So they would have to get in close if they were going to hit, or by that satellite that keeps freaking floating over above us that everyone just seems to not care about at all. You know, things like that could affect us is how I see it. The only way. I mean, troops come falling out of the sky. You have to ask the question, how did they get here? You know, come on. You know, how did they not see them coming across the ocean?
In my opinion, too, it's also a good time for a false flag. You know, the 25th is the time for for Korea to not launch that nuke test and everything else. Is the perfect time to do a false flag if that's what's wanted.
Well, today is the 111th day of the year, and 9/11 has 111 days remaining until the end of the year. So this is what they call a mirror date of 9/11. Just so happens the Queen of England was born on today, and Prince died today. So we just did a decode on my channel about how all that fits together and how Prince had the same chef as the Queen of England, and he was the prince and she was the queen. You see, like, all these crazy synchronicities, and that he was some kind of a sacrifice.
And then how they put all the purple lights across all the land monuments across the world and said it was for Prince, but it's also the Queen's royal color.
And the whole elevator thing.
Yeah, the elevator. Yeah, and the speech, the interview he gave just before dying, and then talked about an elevator.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of things there, yeah.
Mentioned the elevator was the devil.
Yep, and he actually died under a real cherry moon. And that was one of his songs. Die in your arms under the cherry moon.
What a coincidence, man.
But we don't believe in them now.
Exactly. Exactly. That's my point.
and this is the third time today that I would have heard that there's just too many coincidences. I mean, it's we hear it all the time.
That's the thing, when it gets to be just way too much, you can't just say that anymore, that it's a coincidence. It just becomes too much, and it's just over and over and over and over.
Yeah, I always ask, like, how much coincidence is too much coincidence?
Right. Now,
can I say one thing about that last topic real quick? About the North Korea situation. I'd like to, interject with just my thought on this as far as how it's going to pop off.
No, I don't want you to do that. You might offend some people.
Well, that's okay. They can.
I'm just kidding.
I know. So, the days of the beginning of the 1800s are over. The shot heard around the world. It is not going to happen that way. There is not going to be some rogue North Korean that's face to face with an American that's going to be able to pop off around and spark a war. The scary part is that they're going to anticipate what they think could happen and then act accordingly, very much in the same way to make the decision to drop the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, so but they'll anticipate that ahead of time. I think the times are really different now because we're as nuclear as we are. Technology is way greater than it was even 10 years ago. The ability to guide stuff, the ability to, get a very good level of nuclear capability to handle different types of situations and radiuses and things like that. Even as, the end of the last World War, it was still just the test, just the let's see what it'll do in a real-time situation. But now we know what it'll do.
I wouldn't put it past them that they. I wouldn't put it past them to drop a bomb on our own people and blame it on North Korea.
Yep, well, that's what I was getting at earlier.
Exactly. That's what the feeling a lot of people are getting.
It'll be easy.
With the way things are. But is it just? Will it be a bomb? Has always been my thing, or will it be a lights out situation?
Well, I mean, I think that it would be a bomb. To me,
this brings me to our final topic here that we're going to tear into. That's been going down today. That everyone's been screaming at us about in the chat. This blackout that's gone down on both coasts.
Yeah, that's huge.
We had a situation, for those that don't know, at NYC where commuter trains were stuck because of a blackout. Basically, they were saying that something had caused the power to go out of the substation, and it affected all these other places. All these other substations basically went down, and there were literally thousands of people standing in the subways, just sitting there forever waiting for the train. Others trapped in the dark. And a lot of people asking, is this connected? Is this a part of the whole Gotham operation that's underway or set to go down here with New Jersey and the detonation of a nuclear device, the testing for that? I'm not sure, but all these things are aligning and are there. What I know that happened at NYC is that they said they got it in check. They still didn't give a solid excuse as to what happened, but they tried to say a feeder line exploded. What caused that and how it was able to cascade through all these other substations is another mystery. Now, back to the coincidences. How are all these things going to how's NYC, LA, and San Francisco, all three, going to get hit with something like this at the same time? Well, they say a coincidence.
With nothing in the center being affected.
Okay, well, for the most part, you're right. There was small stuff across the board, right? But for the most part, it was like coast and coast. So we look to the San Francisco issue, and they say that there was a fire at one of these little underground substations, but they didn't say if that officially caused it. Last that I seen here recently, I didn't see anything where it said it was official that the fire did that. Thanks, Orion. So we're left to wonder what really happened there. And that affected quite a few people because people were trapped in elevators. I mean, it doesn't make for a fun day. You know, when you're out somewhere and you get trapped in an elevator.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a horrible experience. I don't want to go through that.
No, but you want to learn from it. For anyone caught up in this is what I always talk about. We haven't talked about it as much lately, but I think we should always stay on the survival tip. We should stay fresh with it, I think. No matter, you should never get complacent with any situation. You always have a survival plan. And mine really is centered around a lights out situation. Can you survive a lights out situation?
Yeah, and I had a true test of that on Wednesday night. I got home from work at 8 o'clock. I was supposed to go live at 9 o'clock with 0 hour. And as soon as I walked in the house, the kids said that Pico called today and said that sometime between 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock, the power could go out. They called routine maintenance that they were doing on the lines. Well, sure enough, at 8:15, the power went down in the house and there was nothing. The whole neighborhood was down. You could see that the next grid over was still lit up, but our entire grid was down. So I'm waiting and we're getting closer to 9 and we're 45 minutes into it. Well, here 3 hours later, finally the power went back on. Nobody knew what to do. Nobody, the kids, they were hoping to be able to rely on their devices for flashlights, but they didn't have charger thoughts in mind. Of course, right away I whip out my live streaming bag, and there's 6 portable chargers right there, and I was able to hook everybody up. I made sure I always have a double rapid charger in the car, so if you have to run the car, to use that for a charger. And this was just a minor situation, but it was a brief shot in time that took everybody in the house back to nothingness, back to candles, back to books, back to and again, it was only 3 hours, but it was a real taste. I don't know, what some people are going to do in an extended situation.
Casey, did you see any of the effects out there on the West Coast?
No, man, but I got caught slipping because I went on to Twitter and it's like Stockton trending number 3. So I went live and then someone's like, oh, that's because you got your local settings on, dummy. So I took down the video. But I was like, Stockton's trending live. Stockton's trending, like, what's up? Like, is something going to happen? Because San Francisco is only about an hour and a half away from me. It's just like a hop, skip, and a jump, I'm like, I'm in the East Bay, basically. And
that didn't go out. That was kind of centered to like San Francisco, though, that blackout.
Yeah. But
in
I didn't
LA,
see it.
I mean, it hit there. I didn't see it go far east. I didn't see Sacramento, so to speak, it affected like I see in San Francisco and in LA. But since you were in California, I didn't know. I figured I would ask since you were out there, and that's the area that had the most damage. You're the closest one out of all of us.
Yeah, we were good. The power stayed on, so it didn't affect us. But yeah, so it must have been San Francisco proper. I think they said 90,000 people were affected in San Francisco. So that's pretty much the whole population of San Francisco proper.
You still aiming for the whole France thing?
Yeah. I leave. It's funny. I leave like on the 73rd. What is it? It's day of the year with 229 remaining. It's like it's got my birthday encoded on the day that I'm flying out.
Listen to you. When are you leaving? No way.
I bought this loaf of bread. It was $3.33.
That's how it's mine.
We love you, Casey.
They might try to take a brother out, man. I'll have to leave you my password and everything for my YouTube channel in case I go down with the ship, right?
I was getting ready to ask if you were flying. Yeah. When are you leaving?
May 8th. Yeah.
So that's when we can expect reporting from France.
Yeah, give me a week.
I'll let you get settled in and everything. But I mean, that will be a unique experience in itself, being on the other side of the globe in another country, another element.
Yeah. Now I don't expect to go live in Paris and all that. That's over my pay grade. I feel like I leave that up to the pros. Maybe you guys can make a trip out and.
Damn, Paul. Thank you.
And you guys can handle all the live streaming of the Paris terror attacks. There's going to be more, right? And
right. I mean, that's just somewhere that's prone to have events. I wouldn't say go walking into, a trap or anything like that. But I would, what would be nice for you to invest in is maybe a small drone.
Mm-hmm.
With the I'm serious. Get you a small, cheap drone. They can take off, the ones that will do flips, tricks, and move around, and you will have something to be able to. That way, you ain't got to get down in the middle of pure chaos, but you can still get the shot of it. If there's just massive mobs fighting the police or something on the other side of the Eiffel Tower, or somewhere down there in Paris, or wherever, you can get up in the air, maybe even from a rooftop. From a safe position is my point.
Well, here's what I'm starting to wonder. There's not a lot of live streamers in France. There's not a lot of YouTube channels from France. And I'm starting
there are. There's a couple of different big YouTubers that are from France. You'd be surprised.
Really? Last one I asked to report blocked me.
They will not go to the streets and report on anything. And they say that they're news and truth and everything else. And I think it's a sham.
Dang. Well, we're going to be doing a lot of like history decode. So my first visit is going to be La Mont Saint-Michel, which is a castle has been featured in Lord of the Rings. It's basically like in the middle of an estuary when the tide comes in. It's surrounded by miles of water. And it's like, and back in the medieval times, it was inaccessible by invaders. Like they would actually sink in the quicksand and stuff. So I'm actually that's gonna be one of my first projects. I'm gonna bring my GoPro and walk the streets, you know, and I guess there's a dungeon where they used to torture people back in the medieval times and all this.
Oh man, there's so much different stuff, and we could, yeah. When it comes to France, I mean, the different locations.
Dude, I would love to see drone footage of the cliffs in Normandy.
Oh man, are you kidding me? Like you said, that the castles and cathedrals, the hidden places, the stuff that's just connected to.
Dude, Casey, we're coming to visit in like a month. Dude, so it makes
Telling you, dude, a small drone, you could kill a footage of all those places, man.
The only way it was possible was a subscriber who is basically allowing me to stay there for cheap. And so shout outs to him. We're kind of having him remain anonymous for his own protection.
That's good.
For myself, but he's in the chat. So
much appreciated to you, subscriber.
Yes.
Thank you for that, man. That can never be
Just don't screw him over.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, don't screw Casey over, man.
But this is what
that will not be forgotten.
We gotta raise money to get
Big
this
Pond
back.
gonna come get your ass.
We gotta raise money to get him back to the U.S. But no, that's truly appreciated that you offer that, and and you guys could work something good out. I hope it works out good, and that hell, man, you're gonna be on the other side of the globe. It's gonna be a hell of an experience. All I gotta say.
Yeah. Awesome. I can't wait, man.
Hell yeah.
Again, thank you, subscriber, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, shout outs to everybody out there, man. Everybody out in the chat, everybody that's tuned in here tonight. I see you guys out there. Everybody shares our footage, our videos, information, links. It's appreciated to the fullest. You can find links in the description box as well for everything we've talked about here tonight. You know, I know we have this 25th, 26th date we're approaching. There's a lot of buzz around, but I hate when dates are set like that because, I mean, we all know all too often, and this is a good thing. I think when we talk about things, and sometimes if we can prevent an event from going down, like the next Boston Marathon or whatever it may be, then that's good. But at the same time, none of us got a crystal ball to know exactly what's coming. All we can do is be vigilant and kind of look at the patterns. What is the pattern shown? That throughout the past, when they hold these big drills, that the false flag events that have been known false flag events have coincided with a drill. So that's why we pay attention to things like this, because all too many times it's gone live. And with this one in New Jersey, I guess it's got people's attention. It's focused at the end of the Lincoln Tunnel where it connects into New Jersey, and I guess it's going to center around the fallout from an improvised nuclear bomb detonation. It's a simulation where they have all these different agencies that are going to be involved. In the same time frame, we have the talk of North Korea pulling off tests. That's also the same time frame, right around the 25th, where the Armada is supposed to be actually officially pulling in to the area around North Korea as well. So then we've got the ongoing situation off the coast of California that hasn't been solved whatsoever. It's ongoing daily. People be sending me emails left and right. Like, dude, we're watching more flights doing circles. I mean, it's just around the clock now. Yeah, it was just a couple. Now it seems like it's like 5 aircraft out there at a time.
What do you think's happening?
I don't know, man. What concerns me is we've watched this stuff like for years, different patterns, different things going on, different flights. This, when it started, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe they're out there looking for something. It was over a week ago. I said, okay. Now, a week later, they're in the exact same area. I mean, I can tell by the features there in the ocean floor right there from the images that they're in the exact same area. They're circling something, looking for something, tracking something. Something's there that has their attention big time. You don't get that many aircraft out there circling 24 hours around the clock with Omega fuelers refueling these things in the freaking air.
I know what it is.
I saw triple KC-135s going out there one day that they put out. Man, that's crazy. You don't send 3 KC-135s.
You don't
at the same time.
At the same time,
dude. There has to be like a dozen planes in the air. I mean, one of these KC-135s can fuel X amount of planes. It's not just one plane they can fuel.
You're right. We're only seeing what flight radar is showing us, because like I said before, with the military vessels in the water, they're not going to show you where every single military aircraft is. You're not going to pick up the stealth bombers and everything else. You're not.
You guys, I think I know what it is.
Systems that revolve around plane and boat communication at the same time too. So this could be something with protection from the possible launches from Asia right now.
About 6 months ago, I got wind of North Korea that was working on some kind of secret weapon. It popped up on the internet like really fast, and then it got taken back down. And they had published a threat about some nuclear materials that they had buried in this mountain near these eggs. And then the eggs hatched, and I think it's Godzilla.
Yeah,
gotcha. You guys are all drawn into that one, huh?
I was totally drawn in.
You know what? With all the radiation,
this big Casey epiphany, and I got
dude. With all the radiation coming out of Japan from all that leakage, man, people couldn't say anything if some mutant thing came up out of that. It's already making mutant stuff. Granted, it's not Godzilla, but I mean, it's already mutating all types of things. Right. So, I mean,
I was on the other side of my house, but I just want to say, Casey, that was a good one. Yeah,
you had laughter, man.
You had the bait hooked on me, man.
We talk about a lot of crazy stuff, serious stuff. You have to roll with the punches with this stuff. You have to go enjoy the good, with the bad. You got to learn to laugh too. Have to.
Yeah.
Can I say something about laughing real quick? We've been looking for, it'd be really nice to see some more people starting to submit blogs over at iCitizen. And with that, I would love to see some satire blogs come in. I would love to see some, something that can be classified as just something to laugh at. So if you guys have a sense of humor and you feel really good about putting it on paper, Mike Robertson at iCitizenNews.net is my email. You can feel free to please just start sending over, some blogs. Make sure you have your name on there. If you're on Twitter, put your contact on there, and we'll post it. We'll get it up to the website. We get lots of views. Record number last month. Best day ever this past Sunday for views on the website. Things are going good, and it's a good spot to just feel free to post something that you'd like other people to read. So if you want to write something, a serious blog, if you want to write an article, anything like that, just feel free to submit it to me, and I'll push it up, up to the website. We'll get it up there.
Once again, want to give a shout out to everybody out there in the chat. I see you guys dropping comments. Much love. Yeah, and I appreciate you guys joining us here on the Friday night. Truly do. It is appreciated. I know B was doing some things, but I think he's got a show lined up here in just a little while, here within the next hour. He's gonna have one fired up on his channel. Just keep that there in mind. I'll let you guys get any things you want to talk about here, closing things to wind this down. Any things you want to get off your chest?
Yeah, Cuba Gooding Sr. died on 4/20. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s dad, and he was known for what was the name of that song? Oh, Everybody Plays a Fool, or something like that. And I guess Cuba Gooding Jr. has been kind of on some kind of rant over the last year or so, like showing up drunk to engagements and stuff. So he just lost his dad, and it's kind of weird how all this played out,
Thank you, Paul. That is, you're talking like Everybody Plays a Fool.
Everybody Plays a Fool.
I
That's
sometimes. I thought that was Aaron Neville, but maybe he wrote it.
Yeah, that's what they. When I read that said I think Aaron Neville did a lot of redos. He did a lot of redos, but his was the one that actually blew up. But and it's weird. Like that's that's exactly what Cuba Gooding Jr.'s kind of been acting like this last year with these showing up drunk. And I guess he grabbed some actress, grabbed her by the arm at this thing and was dropping F-bombs on the stage and just kind of embarrassed himself. And now he just lost his dad. So this Matrix is weird, man. All this stuff plays out.
Yeah, it's you know, when you get into the music industry and you get into, you know, Hollywood, you get into those tentacles, you know, Casey, I mean, it can be a dark game. There's some evil, wicked SOBs out there, man, that people just anyone that's trying to survive in the game right now that still wants their face shown in commercials or on TV, making on shows, they're playing the game. Most of the ones that don't want to do it or want out, that's the ones you never hear of anymore. It's the ones that could drop 5 records and you never knew because they don't promote it. They blacklist them. You know what I'm saying? That's how the game works out here. It sucks.
Yeah, and once you sign that blood contract in Hollywood, it's all bets are off. You know, and these people get taken out. They rise to fame, get taken out on the daily. And
every person's different. People sell out left and right, and people sacrifice. They don't care about their own family members, children, brothers, sisters. They will allow them to be sacrificed as a part of what they believe in. And I think some of them know when they get into this that some of them can very well be picked off and sacrificed in the future. You know, like you were talking about with Prince and all the similarities in the dates and the other people we've seen picked off, in my opinion, all the mystery around like Michael Jackson and others. And it's no secret, man, that a lot of these people were warning. I mean, look at some of Michael Jackson's last, whether you liked him or not, look at some of his last messages, man, with people. I remember he was standing in a ring with people holding hands, urgently saying that they had to get this message out. They were running out of time, and then he's dead. So what was he trying to say? What was the message he was trying to get out?
I remember that in his last concert where he was talking about Sony, talking about
that's it. That you just did it. You just said it right there, talking about Sony and all that
and all this stuff.
That's it.
His daughter came out with some revelations right after he died too. I forget exactly what she said. Yeah.
She said something here recently. Yeah, here within the past year, she said that she felt that he was killed, knocked off, and something wasn't right.
I mean, in that last concert, he was bragging about how he was leaving with. He was like, I can't remember the words to the T, but he was saying something along the lines of, they think that I'm just some dumb singer on a string and they could just parade me around. But little do they know that this dumb singer is leaving with 50% of Sony's stock or something like that. And, you know, that's enough to, 50% of Sony's stock when they're $1 billion organization. That's enough to warrant a murder, man.
Yeah, he was around from the time he was little. So
not only
own Elvis's music,
right,
own Beatles music, own all of
his rights, Mike. Yeah, and you're right there too. I was about to say that too. He had the rights to Beatles music. He had a lot of fucking shit. Yeah,
Elvis Presley's music.
And in addition to the billions and billions of dollars that he made on his own, he probably made just as much on selling the rights back to those people. Can you imagine how much Paul McCartney would have paid for the rights to one of the Beatles songs? I mean,
I watched the interview with him, and Paul McCartney was, from what I could tell, pissed. Yeah, he wasn't happy about none of it.
Nobody can control the contracts that were written 60 years ago. I mean, it is what it is. They just got to settle up now. And the fact money's worth a lot more than it was back then isn't anybody's fault. It just is what it is. It is what it is. You know, that's big boy stuff in the entertainment industry right there. When you own the rights to a Beatles song, that's not playing games.
Yeah, it's going to last for the next 300 years. They'll be still talking about the Beatles.
Yep.
Is it? I see people saying something about White House on lockdown. I see multiple things in the chat. I'm not sure. I've
seen it go, and I've been on it since. I can't find a single tweet, Facebook post, or breaking nothing. I've been on it.
Go.
Yeah, as soon as it posted.
Justin, all right. It's Kevin in the chat just said that it's on. on lockdown. Could you please provide a link in the chat, please? If you have information like that breaking, at least let us know where. Say what outlet, wherever you've seen it. That way we can verify, and it's not a goose chase. It's not another 9th and Euclid. Because it's all too easy.
Well, I'm doing a garbage search of lockdown, White House, breaking, anything just on Twitter, Facebook, Google, and I'm getting nothing.
So be on your show. Are you gonna keep everybody up to date on these blackouts too?
I'll talk about whatever anybody wants to talk about. I mean, are we coming back online yet, or what? Are they everybody's still in the dark?
People are saying they're still in the dark.
Yeah, if more go down, if it becomes a chain reaction or whatnot, heck yeah.
Yeah, we'll get on it while we still can.
They are. I don't know if you guys seen that. There's last I checked, I don't know if they got him yet. There was a guy on the run there in Berkeley, a shooter.
Was that it? I was just getting ready to ask you because I seen a retweet.
Yeah, Daz fired up the livey on it earlier. I think it was going somewhere around.
I was going to get in my car and drive over there to Berkeley, but I didn't want to get pulled over by the cops and told to cease and desist.
Yeah, well, just so long as you ain't giving away their false flag, you ain't got no problems.
There you go.
So there was another shooting. How many people were shot?
I don't have that information just yet.
They're just saying that the gunman's on the loose.
Just saying the gunman was on the loose. Yes.
And Casey, a little advice: no superhero shirts. No superhero shirts.
I'm gonna wear a shirt that says, "Don't matter if you're black or white."
They'll probably still label you.
It's got to get that glove.
That was a Michael Jackson song, baby.
Yeah. No, Berkeley's like 40 minutes away and an hour away from me. I should get my GoPro on and go try to find this guy.
Get your GoPro on.
Oh man.
Maybe the Baltimore Police Department will call the Berkeley Police Department and turn you in.
And call you a vigilante. Yeah.
Well, see, you got to wear their Spider-Man shirt, and then Dabu, the next time we go out, you got to wear a Hulk shirt, and then Eric's got to, you know what I mean? And then by the end of another year from now.
Oh yeah, shit, yeah, we can be the
people
Justice
sending
League.
me pictures of them wearing superhero shirts with a gun strapped to their hip. It was hysterical.
Dude,
I'm like, I better get credit for starting this new trend of grown men on rocking superhero shirts.
Yeah. But you guys in the chat, you have no idea what kind of Punisher memes have been flying around in private chats the past week.
Yeah. I love it when y'all call me Big Pun, though.
That's it.
I love it when you call me Big Papa. No.
Yeah, 2 years from now, they're going to be using all this material and calling us domestic terrorists.
That's it.
Yeah.
Look at this man running the streets. He was a vigilante 2 years ago trying to run the streets down. Now we've tracked him down in D.C. doing the same thing again.
Have they caught this guy? Have they caught the guy yet, though?
He blew his brains out.
He's dead.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
The whole story goes.
He killed himself, or they say?
Yeah, mid
I
pit
wasn't
maneuver.
there to see a body or see
mid spin out. He pulled out his gun and blew his brains out
in the car. Yep. And
what had happened was
Erie, Pennsylvania.
we squashed their false flag attempt, and it took them 2 days to figure out what the hell they were going to do. And they said, you know what? Since everybody on the internet's talking about Erie, let's just make them dead in Erie. Because look, dude, how many of these damn shooters things have we seen? And you have tanks driving down the streets and cops looking like marching armies looking for these dudes. All right. To top it off, I uploaded a video this morning of 2 additional shootings that happened within the same hours of that one on the same streets that we all heard on the scanners. And every time we're like, oh, they're saying shots fired on 98, shots fired on 42nd. Okay, well, I found the street cam videos of that and uploaded it this morning. Street cam video. That tells you how many street cams are in that damn city.
Right.
Both the other 3 shootings happened on Easter Sunday, 2 of which we have street cam footage.
The following day, there was a sheriff's deputy in Kentucky that got shot, killed, and that guy went on the run. They couldn't catch him right away. Another 48 hours went by before they got him. And there's not one person that's listening to me right now that knows what the heck I'm talking about.
75 got shut down right outside of Richmond. I tweeted a thing out on that. The dude was out in the highway, shut all the trying to run, and they just had him surrounded.
Yep.
cooking
you
down.
know
Yeah,
what?
I agree. I think that
We'll,
I think that
we'll-
a psyop was shut down that day.
We'll highlight a guy that ended up getting caught after he evaded the FBI for 72 hours by a drive-through worker at a McDonald's. You know, somebody who evades for that long is not going to get caught at a McDonald's.
And
Definitely
then screw the drive-through worker out of his 50 grand.
You know, I definitely don't think that whole thing went down. The
Yeah,
way
they didn't give him. They didn't
so-
want to give him his 50 grand because it wasn't a real story. They're like, "What the fuck? We're gonna give him a real $50,000 for a fake ass story?"
Yo, that goes to the McDonald's dude. I don't care what anybody says. McDonald's dude gets the money.
Right
Yeah, he's
on.
supposed to, but I
Yep.
mean, I totally agree. He gets the money for sure. But I mean, do you think he's gonna get the money?
No, he should. They put
Oh, we just lost Mike and B same time, and Eric.
Whoa.
All mobile devices. Are we all on desktop right now? I am.
Yep.
This
Is
is the
it the
same thing as
blackout?
this
I'm
the
on
same
desktop
thing as
too.
Cleveland, yo.
That's
All
weird.
mobiles dropped out in Cleveland. You remember? And just
Mhm.
me,
Yeah,
you and my
I
home
just dropped out.
left in. Yeah, you and everybody else on mobile.
Oh
That's
wow.
Crazy.
weird. They just dropped off.
That just happened again the other day. Do you
Yeah,
remember
same
that?
thing as
Day before
Cleveland.
Just talking
It's the
about
same
this,
as Cleveland.
Yeah.
this is all the
They don't want us
mobiles.
talking about.
All the mobiles just got dropped out of the hangout.
Once we get to talking about this right here, it happens every time.
All mobiles just dropped out of the hangout. Everybody.
Every
Really?
time.
Yep.
Yep, I did too. Yep.
So the
Got
second-
locked
All
out.
mobiles. That's
So the second I jump in, everybody gets dropped out. I like this power.
it's.
I like this power.
No, I'm saying just here in the past couple minutes, with them disappearing at matches, what's happened before with everybody
Yeah.
just on mobile device.
Mhm. I noticed that pattern the last time. I said, "Wait a minute," and that's why I asked you. I said, "Are you on desktop?" And because I knew that my other account that didn't get kicked out was also on desktop.
That is weird.
So everybody, that's why when everybody got kicked, I said, "Oh, they're all on mobile." I knew it because this is the same pattern. It's a pattern,
It's like some kind of device that they're like some kind of jammer or something.
and they don't have the power to do it through hardwired devices, yo.
Wow. It's crazy, man.
Only wireless cell signal. That's what it's apparent to me, at least for now.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to everybody out there in the chat. For real, all the mods out there. It's been holding it down. I see Lee, Justice, Steven, Jeff, NTR, John, FTM, USM, Johnny, Craig, The Worms, Decimal, Nash, Fears, Saint, Jeff, Noah, Christina, 333, Les, Kex, Caliber, Hale, Victoria, Frying, Miz, Phi. What's up, Eric? Lone Star, Q City, Peter, Jason, Justice, Friends, Cod, David, Sasson, Eric, Peter, D, Rohan, Anonymous. There it goes.
It gets crazy. It gets crazy.
And there it
Those
goes.
shout
man.
outs, yo.
Turbocharged.
Hey, I walked away for a second. Did you get a chance to talk about the I mean, you know, we love this word, the coincidence that 4 days before the election in France,
Cough,
Attack and Fillon asked for the election to be put off?
Right. No, we didn't, but that's a good point. Yeah, they did with the whole events that went down in Paris, right on cue. It was right before elections, and then they come out and they say, "Oh, we're going to suspend them." Like, how freaking obvious was it that this whole thing was staged?
And with that, really quick, I just want to give mention. They cried terrorist attack right when the attack happened. There was no.
And they never do
ISIS-
that. They never.
ISIS has said to call the 1-800-I-DID-IT number or whatever, and claim responsibility.
This is
minutes
ridiculous.
after the
This is
attack.
ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
www.
minutes.
I did
That's
it.
all they do. ISIS can call on a 1-800 line. This is ridiculous, and they can't track them down. Well, check this out. This is another tidbit. Guess who the cop was that died?
I seen that. I
He
seen
was a
that.
main cop. He was a main cop that was inside the Bataclan, the last event that happened.
No way.
And he was
Yes.
also the cop, and he was also a cop that, you know, he's on the side of refugees. He helps refugees to come
They
into
took
Greece
him
and
out.
everything like
Imagine what that cop knew, man.
Oh wow.
Having witnessed the whole Bataclan event and everything else, and he's the one
Look at
that
the odds.
Yeah, one of those coincidences, you know.
Yeah.
Apparently
People
the
in the
odds are pretty
chat,
good,
notice
Casey.
how many times we've had coincidences tonight. I mean,
That's not a
about
coincidence.
you know, it's not coincidences that we
Right.
just have coincidence after coincidence after coincidence. That's
Nah, the problem is they got a group of people. They got groups of people fully wide awake right now, and you know these. I don't think there's any stopping that. I think that's just where our focus needs to lie, and it's going to continue down the same path it's on. Guys, we took mainstream media in 2017. That's kind of where we're at right now. We're working, you know, and I don't mean we as the people on this panel. I mean we as everybody that's listening to this right now. Everybody that's going to listen to it later on. This is we doing this, you know?
People are cutting the cable cord. ESPN's laying off a bunch of people because they're losing some viewers.
Exactly, and that's something people got to realize too. We're putting out better coverage than mainstream is able to, and if you guys don't share the information that's being put out, not even just by us, but anybody that's doing any type of good coverage on anything, then people won't know, because the first thing they're going to think of is, oh, let me turn on my TV. For example, B was live here in Cleveland when that event happened on Easter. There was 32,000 people watching when his stream got taken down. He had more people watching than Fox 10 Phoenix and Cleveland 19 News had watching. Why? Because people were sharing the information. You guys gotta share.
more than both of those channels put together, actually.
It makes the difference. It's what gets it out there, that extra ring.
And then they defunded you, and then they told you to stop. That's crazy. Like, you could sue, dude. You could say lost revenue. You can say, look, why did those channels get to?
Good luck finding us a lawyer. How long we've been looking for a good lawyer out here? Yeah. You find one, let me know. Dabu7yahoo.com, for real.
Listen, we didn't only get shut down at the very end of that stream. We got shut down one time earlier than that, okay? And we were at 35,000 live viewers when they shut us down the first time. As soon as we crossed that 35,000 line, it wasn't a minute later they shut us down. Wouldn't you know it? As soon as we went live again, directly after that, it jumped right back up to 32,000 people. Mm-hmm. People are watching. They're sharing. Make sure your notifications are turned on. That's
and I want to say something with that, too, just involving that scene. Now, it was the top trending thing in the world with about 1.5 million tweets. But yet, once it became nighttime, Twitter just took the whole entire thing down. If something has 1.5 million tweets, it should be up there for a long time. Yeah, they replaced it with something that only had 10,000 tweets. How you gonna replace something with 1.5 million to 10,000 and call that the #1 trending thing worldwide? Why? Because it involved a soccer team? That's bullcrap. People all over the world, people from the UK, people from Australia, everywhere was asking me on information on this thing because everybody wanted to know. Mm-hmm. So that right there shows you that Twitter censorship and censorship from other social media.
People were sitting at their TV with their local news, like the local stations pulled up, and there was no news on it. And they were pissed. They were like filming it, like, dude, what the hell? Like, we can't get no news on this.
Even with that, Cleveland 19 News here in Cleveland itself would not do any live coverage than right there in front of City Hall. Anything other than right there in front of City Hall, there was nothing. Well, nothing at all.
Another huge thing to me is that over the time, you know, I know every single one of us have heard it before. Like, my opinion doesn't matter, or my vote doesn't matter. Like, listen, okay, granted, yes, your solo opinion may not do much, but as a collective, sharing, talking about it, telling your friends, tweeting it, Facebooking it, all of this stuff, as we've seen here in Cleveland, it makes a difference. Like, don't listen to that bull crap that everybody says, like, oh, it doesn't matter if you fight back and this and that. Listen, when you have a whole group of people who are dedicated to fighting back to the same exact thing as you, it will make a difference. Don't listen
look what
to
they're
that.
doing.
Exactly.
And down south right now. Look what's happening down in South America right now. You know what I mean? You want
exactly.
you want
Venezuela.
To see what it's all about?
Yep.
You want to see what it's all about? You want to see what happens? Go hop on Twitter, hop on YouTube, just type Venezuela in there and filter your search down to the last 24 hours and start watching videos. As a matter of fact, you can go right to Chico's channel and watch them. You can go right to Erick's channel, and you can go right to the iCitizen channel and Brian's YouTube channel and watch a whole slew of different ones that have been put up in the last 24 hours.
And that's what happens when people fight together as a collective.
But even with that, back into the media, perspective here in the state for what we have right now. I'm just speaking in the present tense. For what we have right now, for everybody that's listening to the sound of my voice right now, you guys most likely are watching this because you like the work that at least one of us inside of this panel does. If you guys don't share the information, how are the people going to know? You ever hear the saying, united we stand, divided we fall? Well, if you're not helping the person that you trust with your information, then they may end up falling just because the information is not being known and they're just being suppressed enough where they just give up.
Exactly.
It's true. It's 100% true. The power is in our numbers.
I agree. You think like, oh, you get tired of your friends and them looking at you like, oh man, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a tinfoil hat. Start sharing stuff so that one day they might just click on one video, just one video out of the next year of stuff that you share. And maybe that one video just happens to have a headline that catches their attention. And then once they happen to just pay attention one time, that might be that one moment that they have to awaken, and that's a world of difference. So don't let shame or fright or humility or any of that stuff get in your way, because that's all that is a crutch. Don't let it bring you down. Be stronger than that.
True, 100% true. And don't think in any way am I saying grab Molotov cocktails and start throwing them at store windows. That's not what I'm talking about.
Why not?
What I'm talking about is like a revolution of information. We got to spread it. We got to, there's a reason that a lot of people are coming together collectively and working in group situations, because it pulls people together. It helps, spread that information. Just help us spread the information.
A political revolution.
Call it what you will. I'm just not condoning throwing Molotov cocktails at fire trucks as they're trying to spray you in the face.
What's up, May? I see you out there in the chat. Yeah, much love once again to everybody out there in the chat. If I missed, if we missed something you said here tonight, you want to get something to us, like Mike was saying, hit us up on all of our channels. You hit me up, dabu7yahoo.com. B's going to fire up a stream here, I believe, next half hour or so. Is that right, B?
Yeah, I have it. It's scheduled to pop off at 9:30. So whenever you guys are squared away, we'll do a little pregame.
We're gonna shut it down here on this channel. I want to thank everybody that's come out and hung out with us on this Friday night. It's truly appreciated. Hey, we're always covering stuff around the clock, man. Anything and everything. And once again, your help is truly appreciated. Your support of independent media is truly appreciated. Once again, you can find links in the description box. Make sure to subscribe, and not only subscribe, hit the little bell icon next to where it says subscribe, and check that you want notifications from everyone's channels. Thank you, Lee.
Yeah, Paul and Zach, thank you too. And
yes, Paul,
Lauren, remember, Lauren, that Zachary, he loves you.
Yes, and Paul, I really, truly, that's appreciated. You've done more in the super chat than anyone has.
The first time we get a wedding proposal or a marriage proposal in a super chat, I'm going to be a really happy guy. I may even volunteer to DJ your wedding for free. You may have to figure out how to get me there, but I'll do it.
Yeah, you may have to pay the flight tickets, but
I'll do it. Let's get a marriage proposal in a super chat.
And Lee, thank you, Lee awesome. Cyrus. Hello, Texas, for sure.
D, can I give everybody just a friendly reminder one more time where they can submit their blogs to if they're interested?
Yeah.
iCitizennews.net, guys. You can email in the description boxes on all of our channels. There's everybody's contact information involved with iCitizen. We'll get it up there. You want to write a blog about anything, you're feeling a certain way about anything, we'll get it up for you.
What's iCitizennews.net?
I was going to B, you want to drop a link in the chat real quick before we shut it down? That way people can jump on it and hop over.
For show. Here comes a link to the show right now. Y'all can come over and say what up. There's already 7,000 people waiting, so you guys can come join the party.
7,000. That's a little low for regular, man. 7,000. That's all. 7,000.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We got like 80,000 or something like that. No, just
I got that Streamlabs up and running right now, Chico, in my ear. It's dang-a-lang and jang-a-langing in my ear right now.
Oh, shoot, man.
I just got that shout out here, and everybody's going and subscribing. It's an alert that I can hear when people subscribe.
Yeah, it's a party in your ear.
You're gonna come into the chat pushing shills names. It's a quick way to get banned.
Quick.
You want to sit there and just keep sitting there and promoting the shill. It's a quick ticket out.
They wouldn't think people are the best. Yeah, never mind.
You know. Yeah, well, whatever. Enough said. I truly appreciate everybody watching our back out there too. It is appreciated. And once again, we're going to hand this thing over to B on his channel. If you guys want to tune in over there, like I said, make sure you're following everybody's channel.
I'm gonna drop it in that side chat over here for you if you want to put it in the box or whatever.
All right.
I keep putting it in the chat, but your chat's moving pretty quick, so it keeps disappearing.
And the link that I dropped is iCitizenNews.com. That's where your blogs would be submitted. .net. I'm sorry, man.
It's all right. I made that same mistake before too.
Yeah, .net. NEP. All right. I'm sorry.
He's always novice.
It's all good.
That's okay.
Dude, we live in a .com world, man.
If someone else donated 100 more, it'd be 420.
Oh shoot, man! Y'all better get that 100 going and get that 420 popping up in here.
I mean, hell, everybody wants. All you gotta do is drop 1 cent each.
I mean,
1 cent each.
Yeah, drop 101 and we'll make it 421.
Today's date.
No, I don't want to be sitting here asking for nobody's money, man, because the reality is,
man, they know we're kidding, yo.
I know. Always hit the thumbs up button. The thumbs up
Clown Town.
free, that's it.
Yeah, they know we're kidding.
Of course, they know we're kidding.
Yeah, we appreciate them just sharing and thumbs up and all that stuff, man.
He's so humble, man.
All right, y'all.
Just don't drop $2, and it'll be 322. That we can't do that.
Maybe one day, maybe one day Casey will decode your grocery list for you, and you'll know what you're eating.
Oh man, you'll know why it costed 67 cents or something.
Down.
Love you guys. This is great. Thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. We really
man, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. We are at 420. Wow. 420 up in this
man,
thing.
Paul. Hey, catch up with me out somewhere, man. Know you won.
Hey, Paul, you are a real
man, for real. For all
Paul's
that.
a good guy. He's got a good logo now. I told him the other night.
And everyone else out there,
or
people
chrome plated half of an orange.
People that send prayers, for real. I appreciate that more than you know. Yeah. You understand. You understand truly what prayers do.
Prayers are huge.
When you're out in the field and you're running, and that's all that's there.
Yeah, and you're stressed out. Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in, guys. Once again, information's in the description box. And I will see you on the flip side. It's been Dabu7. Much love.